Hello, this is Mr. Evilcheese.
And I'm Bobbycat.
And this is our preview of The Walking Dead figures that were shown off at the New York Toy Fair 2016. And there's some big news with The Walking Dead figures that's going to piss off a lot of people. It already has pissed off a lot of people. But some people are actually going to like it. And I think some people are going to be really pissed off initially, but probably end up liking it later. And some people would they're never going to like it. So the first part of the big news is that they're now going to make 7-inch figures of The Walking Dead. And the first one that I seen revealed for that was Travis from Fear the Walking Dead. And I thought he looked pretty cool. He still has articulation, but it's not as much, it looks like. It says 15 points of articulation, which the 5-inch figures were more like 20 something. And if you look at the picture, it looks like most of his joints are in his arms. He doesn't really have much going on in his legs. But that was the first one I seen. And then I seen that they were making Rick and Michonne from the regular Walking Dead series. And I thought, that looks pretty cool. I kind of like these, even though they're not as much articulated. And then the news was revealed that they're not going to make TV series 5-inch figures anymore. And that's the one that is pissing off a lot of people really bad.
I'm a little pissed off about it.
I'm a little bit too, because of like getting the certain characters we were waiting on, and then hoping that they're going to make other characters that they haven't made yet. Like hoping maybe they'd make some of the ones like, who haven't they made?
Lori.
Well, you have Lori and new characters like Aaron, and then other ones like Sasha, and I was hoping they'd finally make them, but it doesn't look like it's ever going to happen now, so you're going to have to get them in 7-inch if they ever make them in 7-inch. The thing about this for me is that ever since the beginning, I wanted them to be 7-inch. Because I collected mostly 7-inch figures, like from NECA and McFarlane, their older figures. When they came out with the Walking Dead figures in Series 1, I'm like, I don't want those. Those are small. I don't like them small figures. But then I liked the show so much that I ended up getting them. And then the figures improved a little bit, and they got more articulated and started to look a little better. Still, I would rather have had the 7 inches. But now that it's like 9 series in, it's like, I can understand why people are really invested in the 5-inch figures, and they're annoyed that they're going to switch permanently to 7-inch figures.
I'm on the fence. I like the 7-inch figures, but I don't like that they're not articulated as much.
Yeah, if they were more articulated, it would take away from some of the detail, but also I really like articulated figures. I like being able to move them around.
But they do look really nice. Well, so far.
Yeah, I think they look really nice. And if anybody who's had the older McFarlane Toys will know that their figures were really nice. They weren't as articulated, but really nice figures. And I have a lot of them. Some of my favorite figures ever are McFarlane Toys figures that don't have a whole lot of articulation. Just because the poses they put them in, it just looks so good. The paint and the sculpt and everything. And if they would have been super articulated, it would have took away from that. So it's like, it's hard to win with that.
I just wish they were making both.
Yeah, I know that. I don't think any toy company's really done that, other than maybe like superheroes, because you can buy a not so articulated Spider-Man and then a super articulated Spider-Man. But other than that, they don't really do that kind of thing. It'd be cool to get a more statuey 7-inch and also a super articulated 7-inch. There's also a lot of things we don't know what's going to happen with these figures. The way it was, the TV figures came out in October when the show started up for the new season, and then they would come out around February or March for when the season second half comes back. That's when the TV series figures would come out. And there'd be like 5 or 6 in each series, plus a few extras that are repaints or whatever. But don't know what's really going to happen with these. We don't know if they're still going to be like 5 or 6, or if they're just going to be like maybe 2 or 3, or we don't know when they're going to come out. I assume they'll probably still come out around October-ish, at least. I
would assume so.
Yeah. There's something confusing about the wording of this. They're calling it like their collector program. They said something about every few months figures come out. I don't see. There's a whole bunch of things I'm not sure what they're going to do. So that might have something to do with it. They might come out more often. Maybe that's what it'll be. Or maybe just a couple figures every few months. I don't know. So apparently The Walking Dead Series 9 will be the last series. And I guess the last figure that they'll make in 5-inch scale will be the Daryl with his new motorcycle. pretty cool that they made that one. I wasn't sure if they'd do that. And he's also an updated Daryl. It looks like a whole new sculpt. It looks like he might have a better sculpted head with his longer hair. And then he's got his vest on with his long sleeve jacket that he's been wearing a lot lately in the show. And it looks like his pants are new. That's kind of hard to tell. But I definitely like the bike. The bike looks really cool.
Yeah, it does.
But still, apparently this is going to be the last 5-inch figure. So here's the advertisement for the 7-inch figures, which says what they're trying to do here. And it's basically about McFarlane going back to their toy roots or whatever, where they're making bigger figures that are more detailed. I'm kind of confused by the whole color top reveal new waves every few months. Like, I don't know what they mean by color tops. Is it like maybe the first wave is red and then the next one will be yellow? Or I don't get all that stuff. It's like, and they're aiming these towards collectors because of the way they're numbering them, which I don't really care about numbers. And the main reason that I really wanted these to be 7-inch figures from the beginning is because they're based on TV characters, and they like scan the actors, but then when they scale them all the way down to 5 inches and then they paint them, they lose a whole bunch of the detail, and the scanning wasn't that useful. It just makes them not look as much like what they're supposed to look like. And I think this new 7-inch scale, they're going to look a lot better, a lot more like the actors that play the characters. Could be a lot more detailed, and all the paint problems that happen on the other figures probably won't exist, at least not as much on these 7-inch figures. If they're anything like the older McFarlane Toys, they're probably going to look a lot nicer than the 5-inch figures do. But the articulation's gone, most of it.
I am very excited about the new figures because they look really nice. I think they are going to come out looking pretty good. But there's also the fact that the new series, they're probably never going to make a lot of the old characters.
Yep.
And the old series, we're never going to have new ones to go get with them. You're never going to have the characters that go together. You can't use 5 and 7-inch in the same one. It's going to look stupid.
Yeah.
I'm very torn on this.
That's the big thing, is there's a lot of characters that never going to get made. Like, it's really cool to have all the main characters together, and it was getting closer and closer, and to have that. I mean, it's never going to have that completely, even with the 5-inch figures, because they always change costumes and stuff like that. But still, it was cool getting all of them and building up all the zombies, which is going to be harder to do again.
Yeah.
So far, the only ones they have announced are just the 3. They have Travis from Fear the Walking Dead, then Rick and Michonne. And you know they're going to make a Daryl, and I don't know, it's hard to tell how many they're going to make.
Have they even said they're going to make zombies? Because they quit making as many in the old series.
I read a comment from someone from McFarlane on a page that said they will probably make a zombie at some point, but they're going to focus mostly on the humans.
Well, that sucks ass.
That's because that's what sells.
Well, stupid people need to buy zombies.
Yeah. There is other news, but we want to go over the figures first, I guess. There's new McFarlane Bobbleheads, and there's also Series 5 of the comic series. But just talking about the 7-inch figures, I think after I seen the Travis, I was a little unsure if I liked these, but seeing the Michonne and Rick, I really like them. It's not the Rick I would like to have. It's like one of my least favorite Ricks. I don't like the clean-shaven Rick.
I don't either.
I like him when he's got a beard and stuff.
Crazy beard Rick is better.
Yeah. Or at least scruffiness. This is like completely clean-shaven, it looks like. Maybe just a 5 o'clock shadow, but that's about it.
He looks like a mama's boy.
Yeah. He's got some bandages, it looks like. But the detail on him, other than the face they picked for him, I really like the detail on him. This bandaged up hand and the wrinkles in his clothes and everything just looks really awesome.
Michonne looks really good too.
Yeah, I think Michonne even looks better than he does. They really got her look down. Just the shape of her, even like her legs. She's got them legs that just looks like them. And
she has muscular legs.
Yeah. And I like the pose with the sword. I like that pose better than the 10-inch had.
Yeah, I definitely do.
So I can't wait to see a few more of these figures. And the Travis figure I think looks really good. I think it looks just like the guy from this picture at least. I think it looks a lot like him.
Yeah, it does.
For 15 points of articulation, I figured he's got 1 on his neck, and then there's 2 in each shoulder, 2 in each elbow, probably 2 in each wrist, and then there's 1 on each thigh, and that's the whole 15. So I don't think there's anything else going to be added to this. It'd be nice if they just had some in the knees and the ankles. That'd be pretty good. Well, also the hips. But Also, they revealed the new 10-inch figure, which is Glenn. That was announced a while ago that it would be Glenn, but here's the first look at him. And I like him. However, I don't think they're going to include an extra head because they haven't done that yet. But I would kind of like to have an extra head. I like the one they picked, but I would also like to have a not screaming face because
it's not Glenn's typical expression.
No.
He's usually very calm.
Mm-hmm. I very rarely see him yelling and like, he doesn't do the Rambo face.
No.
It could almost be a crying face if he wasn't holding a gun.
They should make one with Daryl's crying face.
Yeah. That'd be fun. So I do like the 10-inch Glenn.
Yeah, I do too.
But since they made Glenn, they better make Maggie next. Because I always feel like they have to have Maggie and Glenn together. It just sucks. You gotta wait a whole other year to get the next one. I don't get why they want to do one a year.
I want a 10-inch Merle.
Yeah.
Stabby hand.
Mm-hmm. One of the other new things that McFarlane is making is, I forget what they call them, but they're like bobbleheads basically. I don't know if their heads actually bobble, but they got big heads. And what one of the people in McFarlane said is, the body is the size of the little building set figures, and the head is the size of the 5-inch figures.
Oh really? They're that tiny?
I guess.
I didn't realize they were that small.
Yeah, I thought they were bigger too. They look so detailed there. I thought the heads were pretty big. Like golf ball size, maybe.
Yeah, I was guessing that the bodies were like 5-inch size and the heads were huge.
Yeah, that's what they look like in his picture, but I guess not. Yeah, they got a couple characters, like they got Aaron and the church lady. They never even made them in 5-inch figures yet, and they got characters in costumes they've never been made into figures. Like the old classic Glenn was never made into a 5-inch figure, and they got him there. And Beth in her scrubs, and then
with her weird face.
Yeah. It almost reminds me of her face when she sees Herschel die and she's like shooting, crying at the same time. Mm-hmm. And then there's Zombie Shane.
Honestly, the only one of these I would want is the church lady. Although Rick's head does look really nice.
Yeah. I don't know how much these are going to cost either, or when these are coming out.
It should be $2, and then we get all of them.
It's probably going to be $10 or $15 each. What if they come in that case they're in? It almost looks like maybe they come in that case.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I don't like the blind or mystery stuff, though. Hey, we want to spend a whole bunch of money on shit you don't want, and then you have to trade it for the ones you do want because we bought like 6 fucking Ricks, and all you wanted was a Glenn.
These things I have to see in person. Like, I'm usually not into the bobbleheads or the cutesy stuff.
It also depends on whether they end up looking as nice after production as they do in this picture, because a lot of times things don't look as nice when they're mass-produced.
Yeah. And the other news that I think is pleasing to pretty much everybody, unless you don't like the comic figures, is that Series 5 of the comic figures is announced, and they're staying in the 5-inch scale. And supposedly, they're going to keep the comic figures in 5-inch scale. This wave's kind of cool. My favorite part of this wave is that it comes with each character comes with a little post with a head on it, which is really awesome.
Head on a stick!
I don't think this is my favorite lineup that they've had, but it's still cool. I know a lot of people really wanted a Shane, so that's cool they're making him. It looks like you could pick between Human Shane or Zombie Shane, which Zombie Shane's kind of pointless, because I think he's only Zombie Shane when Rick digs him up. Like, he never comes and attacks Rick or anything. He just he buries him, doesn't realize he's going to turn into a zombie after he buries him. And they're making an older costume Glenn, where he's got his baseball hat on, which is cool, because I didn't really like the Riot Gear Glenn very much at all. So I'm glad they're making one of the older Glens. And we're getting Lydia. She's a very new character. At least she feels very new. She's probably been out for like a year now or more, but it just feels really new because the comics are so slow. Really like that Ezekiel head she comes with too.
With his wafting dreads.
Yeah. I still figured if they would have included a female character, it would have been Maggie. Because, like, I know you don't like her, but she's a really big...
I still would want a figure of her.
She's a really big part of the comics right now. I mean, she runs the one town, the Hilltop. It seems like she's really important right now. And Lydia's important too, but I feel like she's not as important yet.
I do feel like Maggie's character is really important. I just think she's kind of an asshole.
Well, but I guess that's cool. They're making Lydia. That's the character I wouldn't. If someone asked me, would they ever make a Lydia character? I'm like, probably not anytime soon. But they made one. And it looks like she comes with a knife. I wonder if she comes with like an alternate head. It looks like, in this picture we got, it looks like there might be an alternate head where she's wearing her skin suit mask. So it probably does come with that. That would be cool to stick her next to Alpha or whatever. And then there's Prison Negan.
Prison Negan?
Prison Negan.
Prison Negan.
I'm assuming he's going to come with 2 heads, just because he only had the long hair for a short time and then they cut it and he had the classic Negan short hair and shaved face. So there'll probably be 2 heads with this. I just can't tell in these pictures that I have right now. But I do like it. They got his blue prison suit.
He looks like a lumberjack.
Yeah. I just kind of hope it's not just his head just because it looks so much like Jesus. It's like, here's skinny Jesus, here's muscular Jesus. How do you say?
They can have a battle.
Yeah. And how he stays so muscular over 2 years in a prison? It's not like he has weights in there. Is he doing pull-ups on the top of the cage or something? Or
Maybe he does sideways pull-ups off the bars on the sides.
maybe.
He's a gymnast.
So that's all the 5-inch figures announced so far for the comic wave. Which I assume they come out in summer because that's when they always seem to come out. And I'm assuming the new 7-inch line will probably come out in October, but I'm not sure. And that's probably when the 10-inch Glen will come out, because that's when the 10-inch figures always come out so far, is around October. So when we get more information, if it's enough information, we'll make a new video. But yeah, it's like, I'm happy they're making 7-inch figures, but also kind of sad that they're just ending the 5-inch. I know a lot of people are really pissed off about that, and I can understand that.
It's just, if they were going to do one or the other, they should have decided at the fucking beginning instead of changing it.
Yeah.
Jackasses!
I don't get why they ever started in 5-inch anyway. It's like, McFarlane was known for their 7-inch figures. They're the one that started the 7-inch figures. It's just weird that they went down to the 5-inch.
Yeah.
They did that with Halo and then Assassin's Creed. They should have just always stayed with them 7-inch figures, because, well, I guess it makes sense for Halo, because they have all them soldiers and stuff. Well, this is Mr. Evilcheese.
And I'm done with it.
Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Oh, damn it, man. You see them other pictures there? Why don't you click on one of them to see the video? Or you could subscribe, Nate. Oh, damn it.